Hello, and welcome to the Mark on Marketing live show. I'm your host, Mark Weisenburger, Disruptive Marketer and two-time #1 best-selling author. Today we have a special guest in from San Diego, and I'm going to butcher his name right now, even though I've been practicing and I did it perfect earlier. Rene is the founder and CEO of 22 Social, a marketing platform that helps leaders leverage Facebook to grow, serve, and monetize communities. 22 Social has thousands of users and have used the app to help them collect more than 500,000 leads and generate millions in revenues. Rene launched his first business at a locksmith service at the age of 13 and started programming at 14. He earned a computer science degree from the University of California, San Diego, and worked as a software engineer for the telecom and defense industry for more than 5 years. He later quit his job to return to his entrepreneurial roots. His business experience includes financial services, real estate investing, network marketing, and online marketing. Launching 22 Social has allowed Rene to pursue his three passions: marketing, technology, and business. His mission is to help entrepreneurs reduce the obstacles faced when trying to grow their business. If software can do the job, then a person should not be doing it. They should instead spend the time connecting with people and building relationships. Will you please help me welcome Rene? Rene, are you there?
I'm here.
Great. Hey, welcome. And I hope I didn't destroy your last name too bad there.
You did perfect. Thank you, Mark.
Okay, perfect. Hey, will you just take maybe about 60 seconds and just share a little more information about you, the man, the myth, the mystery, and and just for about 60 seconds, and I'm going to go sneak over and share this on my Facebook page.
Sure. Well, I want to thank you for having me, Mark. This is the first time using blue jeans for me, so I hope I'm not screwing it up too much. But just excited to be here. Just to tell you a little more, I think every time somebody reads my bio, I feel like, who is that guy? But oh, wow, that's me. Feels good. I should read it to myself every morning. But anyway, one of the reasons we decided to launch 22 Social was mainly because part of what Mark said, that people shouldn't be spending too much time with the technology. They should be out there building relationships and connecting with people. So for about a year or so, I actually was helping people get results online. I was meeting a lot of local business owners, and they all struggled mainly because they have very, very little time. And I found that's the truth with local business. That's the truth with almost any kind of business. So we decided to create a platform that would make it really, really easy to get results on what we felt at the time was the most powerful social network, which is Facebook. And lucky for us, it still is. Actually, if you don't think so, go check the numbers. Nothing else is even coming close. Not even Snapchat, surprisingly. But anyway, so we decided to build a platform people can easily collect leads, get to know people, build relationships, collect profiles, because that's real people other than just a name and an email, and actually even monetize. So that's something we added later in the years, is the ability to actually sell content right on your fan page without needing to hassle with a website. We built websites from scratch. A few of the guys, in fact, every full-timer on staff here at one point in time built a website from scratch. So we know what that takes. We don't want people to go there. We've done it with WordPress, with everything else. We don't want anyone to have to hassle with that. So that was our biggest motivation, is to make it easy and not have people need to be technical to get results.
Okay. Hey, thanks so much, Rene. And I would like to welcome those audience members that have joined us, and please feel free to leave a question, a comment. We'll answer any questions at the end of the interview. And of course, as always, make sure you like, comment, and share. So yeah, you talk about that bio. Who is this guy? I was on a show with John McCabe out of Canada, and he read my bio, and I'm like, wow, this guy's really awesome. John had tweaked my bio a little bit more for me, though, so he made me sound pretty doggone awesome. So welcome, Rene. We appreciate you being here. We look forward to the show. And so let me just kind of start out and ask you, first of all, what is 22 Social, And why did you guys have this harebrained idea to come up with this?
Just to elaborate a bit on sort of what I was talking about earlier, is mainly it's to alleviate pain. My family's been in business for generations, so I'm very, very familiar with that small business owner mentality and that entrepreneur spirit. And I feel there's so many things that can bring you down as an entrepreneur because there's so many challenges that we decided, well, let's have technology not be one of them, right? What can we do to alleviate that pain? And in 2010, I realized that, wait, this Facebook thing that not only has Facebook pages other than profiles, but there's a whole API. They'll let us hack it, quote unquote. Wow, let's start trying some stuff. And at that time, I think Rob and I were doing a lot of work together. Some of you who may know, Rob's in charge of support and also does a lot of development. Andrew Lane, who's a co-founder as well. We were experimenting at the time, and a few other guys, and we thought, okay, let's see what we can make. And we got so much out of that API that we started impressing a lot of people. And people started saying, can you build something for us right inside Facebook? Because I don't want to have to deal with a website, this and that. Can I just keep it simple? And that grew to eventually in 2012, we decided instead of building custom systems for people, why don't we build a platform where any business owner, not just our clients or big corporate clients that want us to build stuff, but any entrepreneur, whether it's a guy doing coaching or lady having her own hair salon, local business, or someone selling stuff on Amazon or Kickstarter, or just about any kind of business could create a page and start getting results. So we launched in 2012. And since then, we've made a lot of updates to the system. One of the biggest ones was actually working with Google Hangouts back in 2013, back before live streaming was a cool word. I think that's one of YouTube or Google's lines. It's like, we were doing live streaming before it was cool. Back in 2013, we decided to put a Google Hangout inside Facebook, which these are the arch enemies, right? Google and Facebook. So, but we figured out a way to make it simple so that you could actually have a live hangout inside with registration. You can collect leads, people register, people watch right inside Facebook, and mobile optimize, which was one of the challenges with Facebook. That was it. And then Facebook eventually killed, I don't know if you remember back in history, they killed the fan gate or the like gate, where you have to like something to see the content. When they did that, we said, okay, how can we up this a bit and make it better? So we created the lead gate, meaning you have to become a lead to be able to watch a page on your fan page. So, and we use Facebook login for that. We milked the heck out of the API as much as we could. And so we're collecting profiles before people can see the content. And after that, we said, okay, what about payments? What if we require people to pay before they saw content right on Facebook? Well, okay. So we set aside to do that. We integrated PayPal. That's what we're working with now. Eventually, we'll add more. And now we feel, oh, wow, we have a whole system. Especially, we had a lot of marketing tools for local businesses. Like they could create some sort of giveaway to collect leads, or even run a sweepstakes. We have that. But if you're in the information business, any kind of coaching or training, or you're some sort of expert, like, wow, after all that feedback, we realized we have the whole system, and it made sense. Everything we built was based on feedback, and our biggest market was the coaching and speaker, author kind of industry. So everything we started building was to serve that market, and we have the whole box, from having your hub on Facebook to collecting your first leads to doing type of webinars, whether you're using BlueJeans right into your fan Facebook page, or you're using Twain Social to host a gated webinar to collect leads, to actually selling a digital product or a subscription, a membership where you charge a recurring fee every month. So your entire kind of business could be done pretty much on Facebook. So that's it's sort of, we almost kind of rode the roller coaster ride to see where the software would go, versus just trying to guess and create something we weren't sure people were going to want. But anyway, that was a lot. I told you I can talk more.
I appreciate that. And I'm glad you touched on one comment, or you said gathered leads, because that's the one big thing I feel is, as I'm out talking to clients, potential clients, is small businesses do not collect and gather leads. They're all into it, get them in, sell them something, get them out the door, and they do nothing with that, and if they come in and they don't buy anything and just leave, then that's even worse. And, and that doesn't matter if it's brick and mortar building or online, which actually leads me to the next question is, Rene, what do you think non-marketers' biggest problem or challenge is with marketing online?
Well, it's something that it's not something that's so specific, but it's an overall challenge I see. And I think the biggest one is that we're so used to consuming information. So randomly, let's say I was a solopreneur, I knew very little about marketing, if I knew anything, and I just happened to be on my news feed, and somebody decided to show me an ad because they know I'm a business owner, or I liked entrepreneur.com or the Entrepreneur magazine. So they figured this must be a business owner. Let me run them an ad. And it's some sort of new technique or some sort of complex marketing technique that I'm not ready for. So it's just luck of the draw. Whatever information is going to be popped in front of us, it might not be what we want, because if I'm putting myself in the shoes of a newbie, if we're so new, there's so much of the basics we got to do and learn first before we start trying to tackle the big stuff. But newbie runs the risk of just getting lost in all the advanced strategies when it's not for them. I'll give you an example. I was helping a local business recently, and I couldn't find them on Google Maps. Like, okay, we forget about running ads for a second. Let's make sure you show up on Google Maps. You're a local business. If someone can't find you, even if they know the name of your business and they type it on the maps because they're trying to get to you, and that's a real problem. You're losing a lot of business. So it took me a few minutes to put them on there. I was just helping them. It's not what I do, but wanted to help them out. And as soon as I activated that or confirmed that listing, I could show the next day, well, look, there's 20 people looking for you, 30 people looking for you and finding you. That's lost business. So I'd say get a lot of the basics out of the way. Create a fan page. A lot of people don't have that. If you're local, create your local map listing. But that's a mistake, and I'm kind of exaggerating. A lot of people are ahead of that, but that's what tends to happen. So if you hear of this crazy strategy out there about maybe the best product you can sell or something out there, but you're not even collecting leads yet, forget about that. Forget about how do I create this high ticket program, or how do I do, you haven't even figured out how to collect leads yet. Let's start there, right? Or another one, and that's one of our goals, is to make it easy to collect leads, obviously. So I'm kind of plugging myself there, but yeah, figure that basic thing out. But even before that, something that where people jump the gun a lot is, who am I? What am I offering? Who am I offering it to? The basics of marketing is, what's my market and what am I selling to them? Sometimes we think, well, that's obvious. I sell this. Do you really know who you're wanting to sell to, who you should be selling to, and if they really want it? So that's another thing that you need to start with. Figure that out, and then go out and try to collect leads with that idea or that assumption, and see if anything clicks and comes through. Right? If you think, I always exaggerate, and I always like, if you think there's centennials that like golfing and you have some product for them, you might want to see if that's right or not before you go there, right? People over 100 years old may not be golfing anymore, or scuba diving, right? Or whatever product. Just bad example, but make sure that whatever we tell ourselves in our head that it's the truth, make sure it's validated, and make sure it's done as simple, easily as possible, that costs you as little money as possible, by getting something up and running quickly and testing it. So that, I think those are the mistakes, is trying to go after the advanced strategies when you're not even off the ground yet, and trying to get clients for a business you don't even understand yourself yet. So
yeah, exactly. And thanks so much. And before I go on, I'd like to welcome John McCabe, who has joined us, and there's a couple others. But again, like, comment, share, leave us a question down below so that we can answer that at the end of the interview. But Rene, I think you're so absolutely right on track that and I'm not going to just leave it to non-marketing guys. I'm going to leave it to marketing guys as well. Is there's so many things, so many technologies, so many techniques that we can all get distracted and start looking elsewhere and never finish things. And I'll make a confession right now. When I first got onto 22 Social, I loved it because of the simplicity. However, I got into the complex. I dove right into the complex and made it a lot more complicated for myself than I needed to. So I appreciate that. And then, and because that's the one reason, like I say, I like 22 Social. It was so easy for the non-marketers that they can just get on there, and it doesn't take them 4, 5, 6 months to test that product. Right. If there's a need, for the scuba diver, the golfer, you go on, test it. You can have it done up, tested, and know what's going to work in a week or two. Most of that is testing your ads and finding out what's going on. So, but you can have 22 Social up in a day. Now, I know you're working on a new program called a Client Success Path. And I don't think it's a technology, but why don't you share with us what that is and how that ties in with marketing?
Sure. Actually, it's actually a program that I've been testing. I tested all of 2016. I realized in 2015, just going through what businesses were successful with our platform, was really easy for us to tell who's collecting the most leads, who's making the most sales. And for the most part, I realized that they were having success because they were leading some sort of community or tribe. And that was like a pattern that just kept repeating itself. And then we go back to why we had success with 20 Social. And it really got going when we got closer to our community, when we started building a community and better serving them versus just many one-on-one relationships with customers or prospects. So I thought, what can I do to help people have more of that? And in 2016, I did work with a small group of people, and I tried different things and to try to help them and to try to learn for myself, because a lot of times we do things and we don't know how we did it or why we did it, but we know we've done something right and we want to help others with it. And it comes down to, how do I define it? I've had success. I've helped others have success. Can I define it in such a way that I can have multiple people have success and help and really scale that way? And after trying different things, I finally came up with the 5 steps. Someone who wants to create a paid membership program and really have it be a community versus just like an email newsletter, what they need to do to go from nothing to I have a good solid foundation. I have paid recurring income. And I tried different things solving that, but the 5 steps I came up with, I called it the Tribe Leader Success Path. And interesting enough, that helped, having that defined and having clarity of what those steps needed to be was such a game changer for me that I included creating your own success path as one of the parts of one of those steps, is to be able to do that. And a lot of the times especially if we're in any kind of information kind of business where we're training or teaching some sort of concept or expertise, we ask ourselves, well, I can coach people one-on-one. I can help them one-on-one. That's easy. Yeah, but it's when you try to scale, you can't scale till you define. You got to know what are the things these people that I help have in common that I can define so someone can consume without me, right? And a lot of times we ask ourselves, how do I get more clients, or how do I create some sort of giveaway some PDF or something to attract more business? Well, if you have what I call your client, in my case, it was a Tribe Leader Success Path. But if you have some sort of customer or client success path defined, where you have your steps defined, once you have that, you understand that that's kind of what leads to everything else. If I'm creating some sort of giveaway to collect leads, guess what I'm going to do? I'm just going to briefly describe those 5 steps that my ideal customer needs to take to have success. Go over them briefly, maybe 3 to 5 minute video, or even a PDF file they can download, and boom, that's the hook to get that lead. That's it. If from there, if I want to create some sort of extensive digital course, guess what? I'm going to go over those steps, whether it be 3, 4, 5, 6 steps, and go over them in detail. And that's my course that I'm going to sell. If I'm going to coach one-on-one, guess what? I'm going to tell them, look, my goal for this coaching session is to help you with step 1, 2, or 3, or maybe this coaching program, I'm going to help you with all 4 or 5 steps. That drives your coaching program. If I'm going to do run a community or tribe and have a paid membership, then my promise is I'm going to teach you how to get through those steps. And every week or every month, depending on how often I train or you train, you cover one of those steps or a subtopic of one of those steps. And everything revolves around that. Once you have that, then you have a lot of clarity and you can just hit the floor running. If you want to run ads to that giveaway, guess what? It's a snippet of one of those tips for one of those steps. And boom, that drives to your giveaway. So if you have that path of what a customer needs to take to go from point A to point B, and point B being that ideal situation, everything else can revolve around that.
Great. Thanks so much. Hey, I'd like to welcome, and I can't read real good because my contacts are a little foggy, but I believe it's Justin and Ian. Thanks for joining. Make sure you leave any questions. We'll answer those at the end. And that's pretty awesome. So when you're doing this client success path, now you say you've been toying with that, experimenting, testing it out throughout the year. So is that a product that you are going to share with the community? Is it going to be something you're going to sell to your community? What I'm really asking is, how do I get a hold of that, Rene?
I'm gonna actually give you. I could throw a link in the comments, but and I should probably have a better URL for it. I'm still in the process of relaunching everything, so that's why I don't have a clear link for you. But I can give you a link. In fact, I can throw it on the Facebook comments, which is actually just a 22S page.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm actually typing them right now on your post.
Okay.
That's a link to it. Yeah, I'm in the process of relaunching everything based on that. So that'll be ready in the next few weeks. Okay, it'll be a digital course. I'll have a giveaway, and I've already been training my community on that. So the link I gave people is to my paid membership, where I train twice a month. I'm training a concept once a month, and I have a workshop another for the second training of the month. So and that's ongoing. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun working with people, helping them, whether they're on step 1 or my step 5, which is boom, you got a foundation, you got paid members, substantial amount of paid members. But yeah, so I threw that link on there, and if they sign up, you can sign up for $1. So it's like so ridiculously low price right now. It's even funny, but I'll probably be changing that once it's fully ready. But so if anyone wants to jump in, they can.
Yeah. Well, I hope you change it once it's fully ready, because I'm $1. You can't even get a candy bar for $1.
That's a 1-month trial. You could actually do that with Twin Social. You can launch a paid subscription, and the first month could be really cheap, that make it easy for people to jump in, and then the trial starts at a regular rate, which is actually still pretty cheap, $9.99 actually.
Yeah. So great.
Cheaper
and I forget if there was a comment that you made, and I actually think it was it's going back to the first question, but I think I want to really hit on it because I forgot about it. But we go back and so I hope I'm not distracting from our audience, but you made a comment, you have a product, who do you sell it to? And, I go to networking meetings, not because they're great for building business, but they're great for socializing. And I like to play and just talk and socialize. People build businesses there, but it's an extremely long, slow, painful process. But I find it interesting when I visit with business owners there, and I say, who's your product or service for? And I would dare say 99 times out of 100, I get everyone. Everyone needs what I have. Well, that may be so, but the reason person A is going to buy your product as opposed to person B, person C is all different reasons. So you really need to get down to who who do you want to serve? Who is that one individual? So at least what industry, so that you can create a targeted message to that individual. Because there's the sponsored ads on Facebook, there's the billboards as we go down the road, there's the radio ads. I think we see 4 billion ads per day. And so you, as a business owner, as a marketer, you've got to be able to break through all that clutter. And the only way you are going to be able to do that is to know exactly who you're targeting, what their pain is, and then crafting a message around that, so that as I'm scrolling through Facebook or driving down the freeway, when I see that message directed just towards me, then I open my eyes and I pay attention. And again, just like to welcome our audience, leave questions, comments. We'll get to the questions at the end. If this is first time you're at my page, go ahead and like it. Go ahead and share this show out on your news feed so others can benefit from Rene's knowledge. And so just, we've talked about doing the basics in marketing, knowing who your client is, what message do you go, do some basic list building, etc. But where do you see marketing and / technology going into the future from today?
I'm a horrible interviewee, so here's what I'm going to do, Mark. I want to add one little thing to the last topic we're adding, and then I want to answer that.
Okay.
I want to say, if you're working and trying to define your avatar or your ideal client, and you're thinking everyone should be it, and if it's really, really painful because you go, no, I really, really love this kind of person, this should be my ideal client, but I hate to lose that other group. I want some love for them too. I have some love for them too. I want to serve them. If you feel that way and you think that's why I should be everybody because I have that feeling, well, guess what? We all have that feeling. Yeah. Okay, so it's normal. Let it go. Breathe. Accept the fact that it's not everybody, and it's not to say that you're permanently not going to serve that group. It's just the messaging is not going to be for them. If some of them really, really want it, they'll still get it. They'll still get whatever you got, but you cannot have a conversation with everybody. It's got to be the same amount of people because you're not going to have one-on-one. If you had one-on-one conversations with each one of your prospects, then it would work, but that's not going to happen. You don't have time. Yeah. Going back to the other question, which is where I'm
going to break in right here because I want to add something real quick to that comment, and then we'll go on. But one of my mentors, Joe Polish, he has a program out that I took, and in defining the avatar, he said he has a worksheet, and he just says, go down and write down everyone, everything, every industry, whatever, and then come back and analyze those and where can you make the most money, the easiest, the fastest, and then pick that, create a system, which is super easy in the 22 social, but create that system, get that system up and running, then you can go to the next person that you want to serve. So now we'll let you go and tell us where you think marketing and technology is going in the future.
Yeah, and the way I'll segue into that, if 20 social for a while, we considered, why don't we add an autoresponder, an email autoresponder? We really gave that a lot of thought. And creating something like that it takes a lot of work. We thought, do we really want to do this? And I think it was 2014 when we were considering it. And we realized, email works wonderful right now, and it's still working. And I think there's still a lot of value in collecting email addresses. However, it's not gonna work in the future. And I think you probably heard this before, but people do not email anymore. People joke about, people don't send letters anymore. They send emails. No, they don't send emails either. They chat. They don't even text as much as they chat. It's mainly chat. So the future, and you've seen Facebook kind of going in that direction, is actually Messenger. If you read up on where Messenger is going, there's a bunch of articles online on what China's been doing, which almost everything revolves around a messaging app. So that's going to be the start of the conversation. Now, where you head them from there is obviously you want to send them somewhere else with more information and all that for the most part. But a lot of segmenting your prospects will start with a chat, and you could already run ads I think Frank Kern has something he's done. A few other people have actually tried it, where you run ads instead of running it to a landing page, you run them to a chat where you ask them, hey, are you this kind of person or that kind of person? Based on that, then you can send them to point A or point B, so you better serve them. But I think we're gonna see a lot more of that, because people want to feel like they're having a conversation, and you can't really have that in big numbers. But more bots and stuff and apps are getting installed in Messenger where people feel like, hey, I'm getting my question answered better than, I don't know if you remember. Well, I don't know. I don't do that too much, but calling on the phone to get a hold of customer service, and they ask you, do you want to do A or do you want to do B? And it never understands what you're saying. Well, this time we're typing, so there's not that issue. And these bots are really, really, really smart, and they can be really smart to know exactly what to give you based on what you're saying. So I think that's where a lot of it's going is conversations on these bots. And now, having said that, okay, if you're still not collecting a single lead, ignore everything I just said in the last few minutes and go focus on that. Don't go out in the rabbit hole. That stuff's so new. There's so few resources on it. There's so few people teaching it that you're going to get lost. You're going to waste a lot of time. Don't do that. Go start with the basics. Give it a few years. It doesn't. All the old stuff still works. It's funny. People tell me technology moves fast. I actually I think it moves slow. I think some of the stuff we're doing now. I was chatting with bots in the early 2000s with AOL Messenger. Okay. There was people you could friend. I forgot what the term is already, but you could add or whatever, and message them, and really felt like a real person. Like the answers were better than Siri. So this stuff's not new. Yeah. So it's not moving fast. But what's slowing down technology is the fact that we don't adapt as fast. So don't expect people to move as fast. So that's what's going to be slowing down. Other than the internet wasn't fast enough and all that, but mainly humans don't move that fast. So don't be stressing about, oh my God, I got to keep up with the latest and greatest. And my God, something new's coming up and I'm missing out. You're not missing out. By the time people adapt it and it actually starts becoming more commonplace, you'll have time to get there. So don't get caught up in trying to be ahead of the curve, because you just got to be in the game. Worry about that first.
Yeah, you got to master the basics.
Yes.
Just look at any athlete, football, basketball, golf, or whatever. They have to master the basics. Who was the basketball coach that first of every year would go in and say, okay, this is a basketball, just to start with the basics. And I forget who that was. Maybe one of our guests online will be able to do that. But you talk about the robots, and now we're typing, so there's not that miscommunication problem. You've never seen me type, have you, Rene? So, but along that same line, I don't know if you know Mike Koenig's. I was watching some training he did about a month ago, and in that training, he made a comment that here in the near future, that artificial intelligence will analyze how we speak to people, and we'll be able to set up that artificial intelligence in Facebook or wherever, and we can go out and do other things. And then this artificial intelligence will just sit there and communicate with our friends and contacts as if we're there, because it has learned our habits, our grammarian or sentence structure or whatever, so we can be out golfing while our computer's working. So
it's gonna happen. It feels kind of sad, right? You feel you're talking to your friend and that wasn't him or that wasn't her.
Yeah,
it was a bot.
Yeah, the thing I thought I came up with, and I didn't want to type it in the box and ruin his presentation, but I said, well, if my bot's talking to them, isn't their bot talking back? And so aren't our two bots just talking to each other?
Right. That's hilarious. Well, so hopefully not too much of that happens.
I'm going to sneak over here, Justin. So true. Andy Falco. Hey there, Mark and Rene. Andrew Lane, I think this is the correct link. Join our next hangout. So Rene's telling us something, or Andrew's sharing something. And then Rene and Andrew are awesome. And so there's no questions. And is there anything that you would like to share with the community, the audience, before we sign off and get back to work?
I think going back to sort of on the theme that I'm on is, I think, look for ways for technology to make your life simple or your marketing simple, not because it's not because you don't want to interact with people, it's because we do. So try to automate as much as you can, try to optimize as much as you can so that you can have that time to build those relationships, and in business and in your personal life. So as much as I love technology, like you read on my bio, I've been programming since I was a teenager. I've always loved automating stuff. That was the reason why I learned, because I wanted something to do my homework. So I didn't want to do my own homework. I figured a software program could do it for me. But all of that is not to reduce our human interaction, it's to enhance and give us time to have more of it. And it's the same thing with customers. Something that we do to this day, and we're going to do it as long as we can, is every time we're on a hangout or something, sometimes it's Andrew, Lane, and I are together, and one of us will be speaking and the other one will be answering messages. But sometimes I'll be the one friending people, sending friend requests, sending a message, hey, I realized that you're on our training. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you. And a lot of the times people are shocked. They're like, wow, you took the time to send me a message. And or they'll say, wow, that's pretty interesting. The assistant is messaging under the CEO's account. I'm like, no, it's me. But it that goes a long way. We've gotten a lot of business because we do that, because we decide to still have those conversations. Yes, they take a lot more time, but I enjoy it. I mean, I think if you enjoy people, and if you don't, you should try to. But it's not work. But
yeah, great. I appreciate that.
I want to end with, but.
Okay, those are great thoughts, and it's made me think of a story that I want to share before we close up. But I have a subscription to, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to mention any names. I don't want anyone to figure it out, which I know some of our followers here will know who I'm talking about. But the founder of this company that I had this subscription to, they were very personable. They had events where the subscribers could come and gather 2-3 times a year to learn, to associate, to network. Then the founder sold that company sold that business to another company. And even though the product and the subscription on there is great and awesome, they don't have quite that personal feel. And there's actually a book called The Experience Economy. And I was thinking about that. I said, oh, this was super successful because they provided the experience, they communicated, they had that one-to-one relationship. And I don't know, maybe the company that's bought them is having 10 times the success. I don't know. But in my world, in my realm, they're not. And I attribute that to some of that lack of experience and really getting in to join in. They do things in training and things, but to really build that community, I think they're lacking a little bit. And I've seen so many marketers think, well, I've got my email system up and running. I don't need anyone, don't need to do anything. And so we'll just, they just let technology take over, and they die and dwindle there in the end.
Something shifted in the mid, I guess about 4 or 5 years into this century, when the internet was first launched in the 90s. I mean, it's been around longer than that, but when it came a little more mainstream, the idea of the internet was, look, I can be anybody I want to be, and no one really knows who I am. That's how the internet was sold. And that's not what it became a good 10, 15 years later now. It's more of being authentic and having people really get to know who you really are.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of and I can go on and on, so I'll stop in a few, but in a sec. A lot of the marketing strategies in the past came from that. Like, no one knows who I am. I could just be a marketer and email out and have some sort of identity. No one really knows who I am, and kind of stay hidden. And because of that's how the internet was introduced. But now it doesn't work anymore. People want authenticity. So that's why things have to shift, and you just can't hide. You won't have as much success.
Yep, exactly. And that's why I'm trying to build relationships with Dean and Andy and Justin and Ian that have been on the show, just to mention a few, to connect with them, feel them, help them feel important, etc. But I really appreciate your time today, Rene. I appreciate your insights, your thoughts. And in wrapping up, for those watching, if you haven't had a chance to like my page, go ahead and do it. Like and share this stream so that your friends can gain from Rene's knowledge and insights. Next week is going to be an awesome show. It's my guest is going to be Andy Falco and I can't blow his name off, so we'll let him tell us his real last name. But Andy Falco is what I call him by, and we haven't decided what his topic is. It could be Facebook Live. It could be recreating your what celebrity status, how to recreate yourself. Andy's an expert in a couple different areas, so we'll solve that before next week. But so come back, same place, same time next week, and until then, to your marketing success.